All right. Now, wait. Don't phone looking at what camera? Where do I look? Anywhere. Don't matter.
You are. There's. Yeah. So, Jay, I believe you're on camera 1 there, right? Closest to you. Jackie, I believe you're on camera 2.
Okay.
Right
Awesome.
and that's the wide shot.
Gotta be Hollywood because I ain't been on set in a while. Hollywood sucks.
No, that's actually. You know what's crazy?
What?
That's a smarter question. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people just don't ask that question. Even comics,
Really?
I'll be like, look, ask where your camera is.
I was told I've taken so many, how to be an actor, whatever classes in LA, and some of the teachers are like, you need to take control when you out there.
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing you could do is not ask questions, and then when it's time to roll them, you're like, duh. You know where I learned?
Or like what happens is like whenever you do like a fun like panel show, like if you do after midnight, they'll be like, okay, this will be the camera. If you want to deliver something to camera, if you have a joke you want to go like straight down the barrel,
it's your time.
like know it, because
Exactly.
then you become easier to work with. You have a good clip probably,
And you're not high maintenance on set.
Yeah.
I used to be an extra for Grey's Anatomy back in the day. And I remember
Original Grey's, not this new shit
No,
that y'all watching.
the original where everybody was fucking and you were
Everybody was
supposed to.
people people were getting shot, earthquakes, all of it.
Oh God. And I remember I was an extra on the show and I had a director, whoever it was, say, okay, now Jackie, great. Back to one, whatever. And when she was done, I was like, I don't know what you just said.
Smart.
And she was like, you know what? Thank you for asking me. Because I'd have been like so lost because there's so much back to one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean?
And also, which one? We've been doing
Which
a lot
one?
of ones.
And I'm not a principal actor. I'm an extra. So you got to talk slow.
Yeah.
I don't know how this land where I'm learning this world.
That's a big part of kind of like, I guess like whenever you are involved in entertainment, sometimes ego needs to get out of the way and you go, listen, I don't know what you just said. I don't know. Or even when you go, you know what is the line? Give me the line again. Because so many people be like, I think I can find it, or I think I can figure this out. And you'll be like, why are you blocking this?
I know it all on set and makes you want to be like, God, I hope they get fired. Because they can't be helped. People like that you can't work with. Okay, now let me start from the beginning. Welcome to Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. The podcast is back. Woo! Oh, yes. I was so hot with this during the lockdown, thought I was going to die, pandemic, quarantine. But I was Zooming from my bedroom.
Yeah.
Meaning my desk was literally right there, bed was right here. And I was crushing it. And if I had kept going, I probably would have a house in Austin right now.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And I have my guest, who I knew would be a great talker, because whenever I see him, we ain't got no time to talk. But we squeeze in 11 current event topics in 3.5 minutes between shows, and then we're gone. And he opened for me, which is I also knew. I'm like,
yes.
and he should open for me. You know how you get that opener, those are entertainers who you're like, why are you opening for me? This is bullshit.
Jackie had me so much. I still remember Comedy Loft. We did Comedy Loft. Jackie had a lesbian stalker. Talk about that. Jackie had a lesbian stalker.
But give it up for Jay Jurden, Jay comic extraordinaire. Long list. I'm gonna talk to him about him because he's very impressive. But yeah, that show I had a girl who was excited about me.
Jackie, that was hilarious. We had to protect Jackie Fabulous from a stud who said, oh, I'm just back here. She tried to get a picture. Then she tried to stay. I said, wait a minute. So I want everyone to know feminism is also knowing women can be stalkers.
Okay. And she was half my size. And I could have taken her if I needed to.
You could have taken her.
But she wanted to take me. Literally.
She was ready for some. She wanted to become Mrs. Fabulous.
So Jay Jurden opened for me at the DC Comedy Law. Shout out. I just did you guys a week ago. DC, the club. New people, but wonderful. The staff, the shows. So many people come out to those shows.
Yeah.
It's an easy place that if you're a good comic, you're going to have a good experience.
I love DC. DC is such a good crowd because it's always a good mix of black people and white people, dumb people, smart people, rich people, poor people, a lot of people who are progressive, some like centrist, Republican-y people. So you can
and some secretive about it.
And so and the fun part about DC and comedy is that when you have that mix, you get like big laughs. You get like some people laughing at shit you didn't know they were gonna laugh at. So you could be like, wait a second.
And I did it right after post election.
Ooh.
And I remember bringing up a joke.
Yeah.
And I heard the audience go, because they're like, well, you're here. We can't expect you not to address it. But can you not address it?
No. That's the comic's job is to be like, hey y'all, let's talk about this thing just for a little bit.
Okay.
Let's have a little fun with it.
I know.
It's also not, in my opinion, it's not a comic's job to like necessarily finger wag the whole time. You have to have something funny to say about it.
Gotta have a point of view that's
Yes.
that's not. How dare you be you? Speaking of that, why is the president-elect still wearing a hat? I thought the hat was for please elect me. He
Right?
won, but last night on the news, and the font is bigger. That Make America Great Again, and the hat is
Jackie,
gigantic, but you won.
78.
Why can't you just chill?
78. You gotta have big font. You probably it's just as big on his phone too. 7. He has to be able to read it.
But why you? That's like winning some sort of pageant. Well, I guess they do wear the sash a lot. but winning something and you still got it on all the time.
Man, Jack, as a black woman, if you didn't go to see your hair girl that day, Donald Trump is not going to come out the house with his hair not.
And he be going to some windy ass events. So he's as vain as we are. You are. Good point. Because I be in the back of an Uber, hair just done. And they be having the windows down. I look at them like, goddamn well.
Donald Trump goes to sleep with a bonnet.
I think he don't. You can't keep those waves if you don't protect your hair at night. But let me brag more about Jay. Now, also, after the Comedy Loft, you appeared in New York and no longer an opener. You're now the headliner. He's on shows with me at the Comedy Cellar. And during that time, you were a writer on The Daily Show.
Oh, problem with Jon Stewart, the Apple TV Plus show.
Was you on The Daily Show?
Well, no, because Jon left The Daily Show, and then I was writing for his show on Apple TV Plus.
Gotcha. Okay, now how was that experience? I feel like I've never met him, and I kind of want to.
You would love him.
Yeah.
Jon is amazing. He's so much of a comic. He just wants to talk about jokes. He just wants to really have a good show. He also is so easy to write for because you throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and then he says what he likes. And then a lot of people don't know this. When you're in a writer's room, when you hear your boss or whoever's going to be on camera, when you hear them say something, even if it's just in conversation, be like, okay, that's how he likes to tell jokes. Because it could be a joke not about politics. It could be a joke about sex. You go, okay, that's the kind of jokes. Okay, that's the length. Okay, that's the twist he likes to throw in some jokes. Yeah. So it was basically on the spot training from arguably one of the most important political comedic voices of our time. He would come in and talk to us about crazy shit and we'd be like, what? Man, you're famous.
How does your mind go yeah.
Also, that is when you know true fame because that man is famous. And a lot of people, they go, oh, my friend's kind of famous. I'll be like, nah, whatever fame your friend has, he's eclipsed it. Jon Stewart is so famous that every now and then he will tell us a story. He'll be like, yeah, one time I was hanging out with Barack. And I'll be like, what?
He J.Lo famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, truly.
I know that about you, too, listening to you speak. I'm I had the feeling, and this is something I thought about. I'm thinking about myself as I get older that I have, what is the word? Tendencies. What is the word when you kind of know things?
Which one? Do you have are you talking about the way premonitions?
Yeah.
Or
what's the word?
Instincts?
Not instinct. I'll forget about. I'll think about it later. But reading your bio, you have an MFA in fine arts.
Yeah.
I knew you were a smart nigga. I knew it. I smelled it. Smelled it. Is that even the right word?
Yeah, you smelled it. People smell. Every now and then I'll let that slip. I went to
Mississippi born.
Yeah, I went to Ole Miss. Okay. And I got a BA in English and a BFA in theater, and then I got an MFA in theater at the University of Alabama. They pursued
You're like
me.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. You're like that. You're like Daniel Oyelowo. You're very. you have all the education behind the showman.
I loved performing. I always loved theater and I always loved comedy. And then when I was able to marry the two and be like, oh, I can treat stand-up the way I respect and treat theater. That's kind of when I was like, oh, I really do love this. Oh, I love telling jokes. And the best part about stand-up is when you're an actor, and we've talked about this before, when you're an actor, your job is please give me a job. Please give me a job. Hey, so please give me a job.
Yeah.
That's your job. That's your job. And then every now and then someone goes, you know what? You get to work for a little bit. But as a comedian, you get to write and perform so much more.
Yeah, you can't get fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, if push comes to shove and nobody booked me for anything, no more call times.
Yeah.
I will be a headliner at Jose's Rib Shack.
Yeah.
Down the block from my house. I'll get the crowd coming.
And they're gonna be like, listen, we can't pay you that much, but we can't pay you in some ribs. You'll be like, guess what? I love ribs.
You know how much ribs cost? So I read that about your education, Ole Miss, MFA in fine arts. and then and what made you like try stand up? You did it while you were getting
So
educated?
I did it while I was in college a little bit, and then we had like 2 different teachers that gave us stand-up comedy sections of our like curriculum. So my voice and speech teacher, and he was like a big comedy guy, but he was also kind of in the one-man show world, like the Fringe. He did like Orlando Fringe and Edinburgh Fringe. And so he kind of was like, oh, I really want to relate to these kids. Let's have a stand-up section of the curriculum for, I think it was our 3rd year studio. And so I was like, this is amazing. I'd already been watching comedy since I was little. Like I grew up with Comic View. I grew up watching Comic View, all of Last Comic Standing. I grew up watching Comedy Central, Premium Blend, Insomniac with David Tell, Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn. Like I was obsessed with comedy.
You're like me. Like when I finally met these guys, I'm like, I've been watching your shit for decades.
Oh, it was insane. When I met Colin Quinn and he liked one of my jokes, I was like,
they don't even know how much they mean to it. And they just be at the cellar in the back eating wings.
Just chilling.
And I'm like, when I was in my parents' bedroom, I was watching you figure out this premise.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, so I was obsessed with comedy. I still remember when I discovered Killing Them Softly, because Comedy Central at the time did a really good job of like showing you new stuff and old stuff. So they would like show Dave Chappelle or show their Kevin Hart special, and then they would do like a
half
full
hour,
random half hour with someone from 10 years. I remember watching Jim Gaffigan's first special with the corn in the background when he had the glasses. I remember Wanda Sykes' specials back when she was straight with the when Wanda had relaxed hair. When Wanda was talking about how much she hates a man, and now I'm like, see. And then they would show like old Richard Pryor stuff. They'd be like, they do like a whole like section on like Paul Mooney be talking about Richard Pryor, like the I Ain't Dead Yet motherfucker, that entire section. So I like loved stand up, but part of me as an actor, I was like, but these people are just so good at it.
Do you consider your upbringing to be small townish? Why that you didn't know? Well, how come? Because people don't tell young people of color that you could be entertainment. It's like another planet.
Well, I knew I could be an actor, and I knew I could like probably have fun being an actor in high school and college, and then like get an English degree and maybe go to law school and try to be a lawyer. And my mom never really stopped me. Like my mom let me audition for an acting program when I was 12. So I went to performing arts middle school and high school. So I like knew I could like perform, and I knew I was funny. Even the first like stuff that like I did in front of other people was like humorous stuff. And so I remember just going, oh, being funny is like a cool sometimes activity. Like I get to do like my English class, my math class, my science class. We have recess, we take a break, and then get to do theater, which is like a fun enrichment thing. And so the more you kind of like separate those two, you kind of go, oh, but this isn't real. Like, oh, this isn't how you make money.
Yeah.
And so whenever I moved to New York, I moved to New York in 2015 because I got a theater agent because I did like a showcase my final year of grad school. And I remember just being like, okay, I'm going to audition. And I went on a bunch of auditions and I got like booked in some online commercials. But then my friend was like, Jay, you should do stand-up. And I had written some stand-up. I had written like basically what was part of a one-man show that leaned so funny. The note I got in grad school was, Jay, this is just stand-up. And I was like, yeah, so what?
I'm still being deep though.
Exactly. Oh no, it's about the crisis of what it means to be queer and black in the South. But here's some jokes. And so I remember 2015 I moved here, and I like, this is back when you go to freemics.com, and you just get all the listing of the mics.
Oh my God, I used to print those out.
Yes, so you would just go to all the, and you would just, some of them would make you pay. Some people still owe me a bunch of money because I bought a bunch of drinks.
Oh my God.
But I just started doing that, and I was lucky enough that like about 2 years in, so 2017, that's because you move to New York and you kind of go, I'm not taking this seriously. I'm still working as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And then 2017, I was like, oh, you know what, Jay? Focus on this, take it seriously. And I just treated it the same way.
When everybody around you keeps telling you that you should try something.
Yeah.
After a while, like it can't be you.
Yeah.
Like, everyone sees it in you.
Yeah.
So you got to see it in yourself.
And so
not enough comics get that.
Well, not enough comics also realize how good they are because they kind of go, oh, I'm just doing this shit. There are people who I loved, and like I'd be like, oh, we're doing a mic at like 4:00 in the afternoon. Man, you don't need a drink right now. Like it's 4:00. Buy the soda so we can all like go up.
Yeah.
But like that, you just like see some of your friends, you'd be like, man, you're so funny.
Yeah.
But
usually when I travel is when I see it. I'm like, God, these people in whatever city I'm in, I'm like, these comics are murderers.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm like, you need to get out of here. I'd be like,
or you, need to
you
be
can
like, take a
escape.
visit. Yeah, just take a visit someplace else.
Yeah,
Just like,
there are many. There's one guy, Jimmy Flan, and I gotta see him, but he's so good. I think he's in New York now. He moved. Like, every time I saw him, I'm like, you need to get the hell up out of here.
that's so many people's stories. Like Emil
Yeah.
Joachim, who's now on SNL, he was like just amazing in Bloomington at Comedy Attic. So much so that people were like, who is this young kid?
That's what I've told younger comics. I'm like, try to be a big deal where you are.
Yeah. Cook.
You know, because if you try and go someplace and then hear where you're from, and I'm like, I never heard of you.
Yeah.
But if you get big where you are, somebody will hear of you somewhere.
And especially if you're working at a club and a headliner comes in and goes, who was this feature?
Exactly.
Who just was like on it. And sometimes it truly just takes that. It takes someone being like, hey, I'm in New York, I'm in LA, I'm in Chicago. You are good enough to go visit. And you know what? Matter of fact, my friend runs this show. I'm going to give you their information. Yeah. Do the show when you come to visit.
Because if you don't, and this sounds mean, but like, if we don't offer, it's probably because we deep down we're like, we don't think you're ready.
Yeah.
You know?
But when you're ready, that's like, because like, there are some like crabs in the bucket type people, but a lot of times comics go, damn, who's this?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Janelle James, this was like right after Abbott like blew up. She came back and did a show at Union Hall. She walked in and Maddie Weiner was killing. And Janelle went, who the fuck is this bitch?
That's how I discovered Maddie too. She opened for me somewhere random. And when I stopped because I kept hearing the fucking laughter. And then I was like, who the fuck? And every show, she was just knocking it down.
That is the best compliment as a feature and as a younger comic is when comics who are good and who are established go, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Who's making all this damn noise? or because then comics also go, I got to work now. You gonna put me to work.
I love it. Because if you ever been up to a dry ass audience with a guy opening for you or a girl didn't understand, you supposed to wake him up, so I don't have to wake him up.
Jackie,
I'd rather
talk about it.
I want you to annihilate.
Yeah.
When I get up there, I'm like, I just need to ride, but you already did. But when I've gone up to some dry, do you not understand? They got to know that they're here to see somebody.
This also, I know this happens because this happened to me. Like, we know our crowds and we know the people who like to come see us and the people who support us online.
Yeah.
Sometimes a club will be like, oh, we love this guy, and they'll put a guy up, or and this happens usually with dudes, they'll put a dude up for a feature right before you, and you'd be like, what? Listen, I don't need you dropping too many bitches in front of all my female fans when you haven't earned. They don't love you. Don't be caught. They don't know you like that, man.
A lot of cock-sucking jokes from a guy named Gerald who lives in the town. I'm like, I know you're the town hero. I don't want to hear how Susan likes the whatever.
Or you'll be like, man, listen, don't turn my crowd against you. They liked you for a little bit, baby.
Stop getting to know them so well. Why you talk to everybody in the front row? I thought that's my big ass face on the marquee. Can I talk to them? And that happens a lot. But I realized I came up in a time all in LA where I begged for mentorship. I wanted criticism. I wanted help. And I had the best in the best, still working now, who would be like, I remember Alonzo Bowden told me, stop asking questions to the audience. And I'm like, why? He goes, just tell them what you want to know.
Yes.
Stop. And to this day, I'm just like, if I do ask it, I ask it so you know.
Yeah. It's
rhetorical. It's part of the bit. But I used to just randomly
ask. You do such a good job because you go, I'm asking you a question. I'm glad you said that. Back to me.
Alonzo then got in my head. Like, he probably watched me annoyed. Like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
Asking so many goddamn questions.
Well, that's like this new thing where some people don't understand that your job as a comic is to basically go up there and tell those people, this is how I see the world. This is how I feel about shit. Oh, you think I care about how you feel about stuff? I don't care, baby. I was asking so I could bring it up.
I'll let you know if I want you to participate.
Yeah, and there's like a ownership and a power to that I think some people kind of give up too fast.
Yeah.
And no judgment to them, but I think there is a level of like control. You're the captain, you're the teacher, you're the principal. You go, listen, I know y'all think y'all can talk, but I got a lot to say. And guess what? The stuff I have to say is so much fun, you aren't even going to want to talk. You know what I mean?
I'm a fun show to watch. The internet, I've noticed that a lot of people who come to see me, they are comedy club virgins.
Yeah. Because
they just went, I like this black chick.
They went, ooh, America's Got Talent. Let me go. I got to see her.
She going to be near the house. I'm going to go see her. And then they get there. They're like, girl, I love your dress. You so funny. And I'm like, have you ever been outside? And they're like, down low, they're like, not for this. I don't want to let you know that I like you. I'm like, well, we can make out after I am finished. But you got to realize that they watch you on their phone. You're in town, no thought.
Yeah.
They buy it. They can buy it on their phone with the tickets. They don't even know the etiquette.
I had a person come up to me this past week and they said, "Oh, this is my first comedy show. I'm so happy. Oh my gosh, you just like kept talking." And I literally was like, "Yeah, girl, I'm gonna talk."
I had this man say to me after the show, he goes, "That was a lot of material." And then that was it. And I'm like, no compliment. He wasn't even smiling.
That's one of my one of my favorite things that you do, and I remember being like, God, that's so smart. Is like, you have that very funny joke about when a man doesn't tell you that he took a Viagra, and you literally have like joke, and then you go tag.
My list.
The list. I love that so much because and there's so many people who like when they see me, they go, oh, that's like connected because like you give the audience so many times to laugh that the people go, oh, usually because audiences now they go, I can control it. I can know where a comic is going. They don't know where you're going, so they go, wait a second, hold on, oh my God, stop, Jackie. You go, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep telling these jokes, and it's such a smart thing because audiences go, why was I laughing so much? And I go, oh, because you weren't in control anymore.
Yeah, that's what laughter is. I remember when the list thing for me, of course, is accidental in my writing. But when I saw the reaction, that's when I'm like, now my thing are lists.
It's such a good list, especially. I mean, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen Jackie, but the parental consent form. Mm-hmm. That's the one. I was like, God, that's good. That's so good.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the real issues because I knew it was gonna be a lot of catching up. Before I had a cold for a while, so. Oh, God.
And I also wanted to shout out Jackie. Well, me and Jackie also have something in common. We love getting away with something being a little dirty on TV. Jackie got away with a pussy joke on The Tonight Show.
I remember.
Jackie got away with a pussy joke. She didn't imply pussy. She said pussy.
I did. But it was supposed to be about cats. But but when I submitted it for okaying, all right, the what you call, I'm like, they're not going to say yes.
Standards and practices, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I got the text, but Mike was like, all good. And I was like, what? And when I got back to the couch with Jimmy Fallon, I said to him when they were clapping, I'm like, I said pussy on NBC. And he gave me the biggest high five. I left that out. I'm out of practice with podcasting. We have both performed on The Tonight Show how many times?
I did 3. You did 3?
At 4.
4? Hell yeah, look at that.
Black people in 2024. Now, I also say, and this is because I'm like 2% bitter, if we had this many Tonight Show performances 30 years ago, we'd have castles.
Oh, we would literally just be like, hey, yeah, it's so, no, talk to my team. Please talk to my team.
We'd have a castle.
We'd be like, yeah, Johnny Carson called me again.
But when we see each other, a lot of stuff about entertainment, and I have this thing inside of me, nobody to talk to about it.
Yeah.
Love my hubby, but he don't care.
Yeah.
So, okay. Recently, Denzel, did you see it?
Yes.
He's been clean for the last 10 years.
Yes,
I saw it on my phone, and I was like, I didn't know you had an issue.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And did you hear a nice little paragraph soundbite of him describing his whole addiction issue?
Remember he did Flight.
Did we have to know, though?
He did Flight, and I think...
Real good at it, too.
That's what I'm saying. So, and that, I don't know...
I just watched it again.
That was close to 10 years ago, and that was a movie about a pilot battling alcoholism.
It was a minute ago.
I don't know if that's connected 100%, but you know what I'm saying? There's also, like, in that interview, did you also see he said one time he tried dope?
He said, I have never gotten strung out on coke or strung out on heroin. Yeah. Or weed. He said his problem was wine. Now, to me, that I'm inferring from what he's saying that he did a hell of a lot of them, but did not have developed an addiction to them.
Yeah,
which means he got it in. Over these years.
It's like that. It's like that Quincy Jones interview when he was like, "Oh, you know, Marlon Brando was fucking Richard Pryor and everybody," and then you were like, "Quincy, the '80s sound wild." So I can only imagine if you're Denzel level fame from the early 90s all the way until now. I mean, you probably had your opportunity to try everything.
I'm like, when I look at the Comedy Store and I think of the stories I've been told, I'm like, I think the reason the Lord did not let me be a comic during those times,
Oh.
there's no way, knowing how I do and I don't. This is why I do.
Yeah.
Or I do because I don't. I'd have been way up in it with all of them.
Oh.
Cocaine on the table, paying for accepted pussy. I'm glad I wasn't around during those days.
We are also, and I kind of noticed this about a couple of people now. We are in an age of comedy where, like, maybe you'll have, like, a drink, but I don't see as many people getting on stage, like, drunk.
No,
I don't see,
and
people,
clubs get disappointed.
Yeah.
Because every now and then I'll go somewhere, and they'll always offer, and I'll say no. When I was in London, all black comics in the back, guys, and I came in, and as soon as I got there, you want a drink? You want a drink? And I was like, no.
You'll be like, maybe I'll have a drink after my set.
And
They'll
they
be
were like, why?
Yeah.
And I was like, nigga, why? How dare you ask me why? I'm a grown man. I don't want to. I don't know y'all.
And because I think comedy audiences now, they're so sharp that if you're a little drunk, they can sense it. And we've had like a couple of very famous comics who have like, now if you get drunk, it's not just that you were drunk at a show, no one says anything. People report stuff. People get on TikTok and say such and such was drunk.
Was slurring and
Yeah,
stuff.
people
and we're healthy now too. Like, I've had clubs be like, back in the day, like, because they'll hear now a comic is looking for a juice bar, and they're disappointed. They're like, look, this is boring. You guys used to not be so healthy. You want to walk back to the hotel.
And the clubs make up for it. They'll be like, you want some chicken wings? You'll be like, sure, I guess.
I thought of you. I was at Zany's Rosemont recently. Remember, the issue with them is that the hotel and the venue, they're just like, it shows at 7. You're like, I don't know where you guys are. Please send someone. They changed the hotel. Have you been back?
No.
They put the hotel right across the street.
Oh, that's good.
So when you open the back door, you can see the hotel.
That's smart.
Because it used to be like, we're across the parking lot.
Yeah, it used to be like, well, okay, so are you at the airport right now? All right.
They didn't care.
Every time when you're a comic, though, sometimes, and I do love the road. What happens is, like, you'll be like, oh, I'm close to the club. I can walk. There's a cool downtown area. Every once in a blue moon, they just put you on a frontage road. You're like, listen.
What's in front of me is the mall.
Yeah, someone come pick me up. I'm just looking at a landfill.
Not the Macy's front door open to the mall. I'm talking about the Nordstrom sign. Which means the entrance ain't nowhere near what I can see. It's like going to Vegas. We're gonna go walk to New York, and then you start walking. You're like, I'm gonna die.
Or you'll be like, why am I looking at the back of the mall? Where am I at? Why can't I see?
I thought they had a Saks Fifth Avenue. Yeah, but you got to walk around the parking lot where the shipping, where they bring the shipments, is back there.
And because you're a New Yorker, you went to LA for a bit, but like New Yorkers like to walk, so you just see a New York comic walking on the highway,
on the side of the road, dressed up,
smelling
good. It'd be just about dark, but not dark yet, and we are like walking briskly,
cars flying past,
but we got someplace to be. We are the whole entertainment for the night. Yeah. But if we get hit by this Walmart truck,
listen, I would like some Tracy Morgan money.
It do be like that, don't
hit me.
Okay. I think Cardi B is happier now.
Oh yes. I
love Cardi B.
Yes.
Does she seem happier to you now?
I mean, she gave him 3 chances?
We see 3.
That's right, Jackie. Now you hit the nail on the head.
Okay,
we've seen 3.
But we know in the whole toxic go back culture.
If we're talking about how many times she's had to be like, you put your phone face down. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Cardi B.
Why are you bringing your phone to the bathroom again?
Exactly.
That life is
Cardi
gets
B
old.
and Offset are that couple that you were friends with in high school, and you were like, listen, y'all shouldn't be together. I know y'all love each other.
Or you see them later and you're like, y'all together?
Yeah. Wait a second. What? When you just said, let me pull up Facebook. 2 weeks ago, you said, fuck him. Y'all know I can't stand my baby daddy. He ain't shit.
And this time you added fuck him and his kids. So we thought you were really done.
Yeah. And you knew about them other baby mamas. You knew. You came back.
I don't know.
I think I don't think she's gonna go back to Offset.
I feel like in my groin, I feel like she's not gonna go back.
Yeah, I feel like I think a part of the problem is that she's also having to deal with like second album rollout, like what she's gonna do. Following up Invasion of Privacy is gonna be, it's so hard and it's been so long.
Do you have to do another album? I'm like annoyed with her now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it has been a fucking minute. And she's so busy but every now and then, let's not pretend that she has not put out music consistently.
Oh, very good music.
People just spoiled and they just want an album.
Yeah, good songs with Megan. She's put out like good features. I would love
sneakers.
an album.
I've gotten your Reeboks. I've gotten her sneakers.
And was a political correspondent. It's still funny. It's still a fashion it girl.
I know.
What I want another album just because I thought Cardi did a really good job.
She did a really good job.
She's one of the few people who said, you know what, I'm gonna be on Love and Hip Hop, but actually I'm gonna do really well. And she did it. She like escaped it because that's hard to get out.
It's hard to tell a room full of bitches. Wait till y'all see. And she actually
have something to show.
Exactly.
Because she was she was really on Love and Hip Hop. Some people are like, oh, was she kind of a side character?
Pre-money.
She was in it.
Pre-money. And she still looks the same, but you can see the enhancements.
Oh yeah.
Now why can't she be allowed to not do music again? I'm getting annoyed with Rihanna, who I also love. Yeah. Maybe she don't wanna, but they will not let it go.
Well, I think
it ain't like she's not busy. She had a job.
Well, Rihanna has she's got all of the skincare, all of the lingerie,
hair.
And I'm gonna say the other thing: A$AP Rocky, get off that woman. Stop putting them babies in her. She pregnant. Every time I look around.
She's 36, and right now she's at an age where she probably should either have the other one quick.
Yes.
To not be worried about it later.
I mean,
but she's also West Indian and Caribbean. So she could be 51 and be like, guess who keeps popping them out, on the dance floor.
One of those, it still works, baby. Okay.
Who are you a fanatic over celebrity-wise, if you are?
The person who I always tell my husband, this is the one person if they met, because my test is like, if you met them and they said your name, would you cry? Mariah Carey.
Oh.
If you go to an elevator and it opens up and a person could pop out that would make you go, that's Mariah Carey for me. I would truly be like, oh my God.
Mine is Jennifer Lopez.
See? And I'm going to tell you something crazy. Jennifer Lopez, Waiting for Tonight, but more importantly, that first album On the 6th, I didn't know I was gay, but something clicked. If you have my love, and I gave you all my trust.
Every time she wears a particular outfit, with skin showing. Yeah. Remember she was on Chelsea lately? And there was a clip where she walked on the stage, and Chelsea was like, I don't eat pussy.
Yeah.
But if you catch me on the right evening, she has that effect on you where you're like, I really do prefer dudes.
Jennifer.
But you make me confused.
And even I would even say that Jennifer Lopez has been consistently in the zeitgeist. She's one of the few people
she must be so exhausted.
But fly girl. Could always find an acting role.
Mm-hmm.
It was super funny.
Out of Sight, loved the movie. Yes. It was so well done.
Super funny when she wanted to do rom-coms.
Mm-hmm.
Put out good music. Can dance her ass off.
Did you see her last 2 movies though on Amazon?
I did not see the big 2. The big 2 projects.
That changed my opinion of her a little bit because it's so everybody help me figure out me.
Oh yeah.
And we're just if you would just chill. Just get some down to fuck dick and just relax for a minute. But people like her, and we're both Leos, so I get her thing. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time unless you want to get married.
Well,
but it's not working out.
She went back to Ben. I think that
we all got married around the same time.
Oh yeah.
When did you get married?
2022.
Me too.
Yeah.
September 16th.
So Jackie, you got married, and I remember everyone was like, did Jackie get married? The response was wait a second. Jackie got married online. With me, I remember I was with my husband, I want to say close to 11 years, and we finally had the time and the space and the money to get married. And I was like, you know what?
I remember,
let's do it. And you were telling me about your husband. You were like, listen, I spun the block. I went back.
The repeat. We met in 89 in community college. But he was with someone else. I was 17 and boyfriend. I don't know what to do with y'all yet.
Yeah.
And then he transferred in last. I had someone else for forever, married for about a year. But he was always my friend because he lives in New York. I was in L.A. And when I moved back to L.A., he was like, okay, now that you're here, stop fucking around and let's see what's up. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've known him for so long, it wasn't hard to be like, I probably should see if this one will stick.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the best part is hearing what you talk about. You kind of talk about this in some of the shows at the Cellar, and like crowds would be like so responsive to that story, because I think so many young people, what they're told is like, you'll find it early, you'll figure it out fast, and you just stay with that person forever. And then you were like, that ain't true.
No.
Stop.
Or you might go through a few when you're young, and you shouldn't be ashamed.
That was
and
that's like the wild part. Is like, it's so crazy that we would tell young girls and young boys, but we tell young girls, you're gonna find the first penis is gonna be the one, and you're like, girl,
and it may not be the one.
The first one.
I had girlfriends who'd be like, every time I met a new guy, she's like, well, is he the one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop asking me that. I'm like, I'm just dating and having fun.
You'd be like, he's the one this week.
Exactly.
This week. Also, he acting up. He might not be the one today. Whenever me and my husband first started dating, I was like, I wasn't a good boyfriend, and he's an amazing boyfriend, but also we were like young and in college. And so then when I went to grad school, we were 3 hours apart. And there was a conversation one time when we had, I was like, do whatever you have to do. I'm still going to make sure I come see you every now and then. But like,
you sound like he getting locked up in prison.
But I felt like
I still love you.
Yeah, but I felt like I was like limiting his choices, and like we were very clear. And so then when we got back together, like super officially, when we got back to be able to live together in New York, the other thing that made me happy about our agreement was that like we moved to New York together, and if it didn't work out, guess what? We were both in New York. You can't throw a rock without hitting the other gay person. So like there was not gonna be a world where we were gonna be like, oh no, I made this sacrifice. Yeah. I didn't move to Bismarck, Montana.
So you could regret all your life choices.
Yeah.
You know what I tell girls now? Women, I'm like, when they're like, 'cause they do be like, for real, Jackie, how you get a boyfriend?
Yeah.
And I'm like, go home.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, 'cause a lot of time in New York and LA and Chicago, we're in the hip cities.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, where are you from? Louisiana to Kentucky, Alabama. I guarantee your boyfriend at home.
Yes.
Watching you on Facebook, waiting for you.
Yes.
And mind you, he wasn't on Facebook, but when I moved back home, he's like, still here. Now, mind you, that could also be a hilarious joke about why are you going back to the loser who was not worth it the first time. But you might go back to the hometown guy.
Yeah.
Who, we're big city folks.
You understand how many Hallmark movies make money telling you to do that?
Because we are big city folk. You don't gotta be wealthy to be big city folk.
Yeah.
And people who are not from there, they're like looking up at it. I'm like, don't go nowhere. I might be back.
Yeah. And also, there's like this very, like, I think there's a much more positive atmosphere for women being able to talk about that now, in part because of podcasts and because like people have kind of peeled back the curtain. For so long, there was just like, well, you just find what you find. You'll be happy.
The universe will provide.
Just don't even look. You be like, don't look. I think you gotta look.
I did a talk show preparing for DC Comedy Law, one of the morning shows. Black host, woman and man, black dude, kind of cocky, but he was nice. And people were talking about putting their profiles on LinkedIn trying to find love. And, segmented, what do you think? And he was like, I would not put, online dating is different now. I would never do it. But then he said, although I met my wife on MySpace.
Okay.
I was in the back waiting for my segment, like, let me at it. Let me at it. And when I got out there, I said, I'm like, before you even say hello, how dare you tell the world, don't put, if you are single, you tell everybody.
Yeah.
You tell the mailman, you tell the Amazon, your family, your barber,
yes.
how you find love. And I said, how dare you met your, you know what, on MySpace.
Well, I think people, they want to go, oh, that advice is for everyone else. You go, you are part of everyone else.
You're part of the world.
You are not some very special. It's like when people kind of say, oh, well, we as a couple, like, we never argue. I'm like, okay, well, that means somebody gave up.
Somebody about to be stabbed in their sleep.
If you've never had a conversation, you go, wait a minute, wait a second. Is there like a miscommunication?
Yeah.
Because the couples who never fight, I go, someone gave up. Someone just went, I've resigned. I'm not do whatever.
Because you married to somebody black, every now and then you gotta get, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And that's not, you're not divorcing them, you're just checking them. Like,
man, that's not even just like in relationships. In life, every now and then, and like, we're black comedians who work work a bunch of mainstream rooms and work black rooms. Every now and then, what happens is like sometimes with white comedians, or just sometimes people get real comfortable.
Familiar,
Yeah, you have to be like, wait a second, what's going on?
What are you really trying to
be
ask
me? You getting comfortable. You getting real comfortable. I don't think that's how that needs to work out.
Sometimes when I walk into like an already established conversation, and there's a bunch of whatever dudes, I listen.
Yeah.
I pretend I'm drinking my Coke, but I'm eavesdropping. And to learn to not to see what's going on, but also to be like, oh, so-and-so has a tendency to so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know, I remember one comic, she's like, most of these dudes got a background you don't even want to know about.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to be their friend. You could be a coworker and a colleague and an acquaintance, but you don't got to be their boo.
Well, that's hard also because now you kind of go, listen, I am a coworker and a peer, but if I see or if I hear someone acting crazy, my instinct is either to be like, what? Or I just gonna leave. I'm gonna be like, I'm not. I'm not about to be sitting next to you while you saying crazy shit.
Speaking of, when I Wikipedia'd you and Googled you to learn more about you, your Wikipedia said very clear, bisexual. And I was like, and I'm, you know what age I am? I'm young old. Yeah. I'm at age where I'm like, that is his private business. And I'm young, like, everybody should know. I'm in between.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. I always say that I'm like Cookie Monster. For me, pussies is sometimes food.
Lord.
But, you know, what I want people to know is that, like, there's tons of room to figure stuff out. I've been lucky enough that I've been able to, like, I had girlfriends in college. I had a girlfriend in high school, and, like, this was the rule. She had a guy she was seeing, and I had a girl I was supposed to be seeing, but she was a cheerleader, and so I'm sorry, Lauren, if I'm putting you on blast. Every time we had, like, a break, just the way like high schoolers were just kind of figuring out your bodies and stuff, we would go to her car and just like make out. And like I was like, if I look back on it, I was probably like a little gay boy in high school, but like just making out with this girl all the time. And people were like, y'all are so weird. What's wrong with y'all? And she was like, so me and Jay like to kiss all the time. So that's like. Were
you aroused?
I was. Well, I mean, Jackie, in high school, hair trigger. I was coming in my pants quite a lot. Okay, I mean, like, ladies of a certain age know that in high school, before y'all just let kids lock doors, that wasn't happening. I went to high school in 2006. We had to stay on the couch. So we were dry humping on the couch quite a lot. And listen.
No, all the sex I had in my parents' house was on the couch downstairs.
Exactly.
They didn't see upstairs.
We didn't get that. Exactly.
No.
So, like, we were hunching, dry humping quite a lot. And every now and then I'd be like, you know what? I'm good. I'd be like, did you come? I can't. I'm good. She's like, we haven't taken anything out. I was like, you didn't need anything.
You gotta get yours.
I didn't need anything. So
when's the last time you had a girlfriend? Like, how old were you?
The last time I like really like had like a dedicated girlfriend was in college, and then the last time I hooked up with a girl was in New York City, and that's like every now and then I'll be like, oh, one of my friends, he gets so mad. He's like, wait a second, you get to have a husband and you got to hook up with a girl. It's not fair. And I told him, I said, nigga, you can have a husband if you want. He said,
but because of the title you put out there, how you identify, you're queer / bi.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing? If I didn't want to bother with I am bisexual, what do you like more? Queer should eliminate questions, shouldn't it?
Kind of gives you a big umbrella to do whatever. For me, queer
is like you do what you want.
Yeah, and queer is also like you're even, in my opinion, a bit more radical. Maybe your relationship is a bit more flexible. Like my husband and I don't talk about us being open a lot because sometimes there'll be an ugly person at the show and I'll be like, I don't want you to think you have a chance. But
whenever I've gotten approached, and it's been often by couples who want to invite me alone or with my husband, they both ain't never hot. I have never been like, well, shit. It's always either one is the woman, usually amazing, and the guy is some troll.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you give me?
He needs to lock the door.
Exactly. And I remember I put a joke. I'm like, Brody Jenner. Is it Brody Jenner?
Yeah.
And Kristen Bell. Let me get that couple being like, where's your hotel? I'm like, down the street.
There was like what happened for me whenever I was like kind of figuring out like what I wanted our rules to be, because we had threesomes before, and before like everyone was talking about all the time.
Isn't that exhausting?
Well, yeah, I mean threesomes with.
Do you have snacks? Do you have threesomes?
With waters provided,
Okay.
snacks are provided.
Okay.
Every now and then, and this was like back, but this is like I want to say when we first moved to the city, because you go to New York and you're two gay boys and you've been together for a long time, but you're also in New York and you go, listen, I mean, we gotta go shopping.
Are you allowed to call yourself a gay boy if you're not exactly a gay boy?
Yeah, because I mean, I be having gay sex.
Okay.
But no, we're two queer individuals.
Okay.
I don't know when the last time Garrison has hooked up with a girl, my husband. But I think the big thing for us when we first moved to New York City is like we were like, you know what? We're in New York. Let's explore this together.
Yes.
And the togetherness, because that person always went home.
Yeah.
We didn't ever go to they came to us. They went home. They got kicked out.
It's a good segue. You said you don't know when he last hooked up with a girl.
Yeah.
Is that because y'all are both dudes? I ask that because Issa Rae, her podcast, I don't have any other information. Okay, I will. I'll get better at this. She was saying she noticed how men don't really, when they have conversations, they don't have any follow-up questions. They don't really ask any. They don't dig. They don't probe. And I noticed that my last boyfriend had friends who I was jealous of, because he had friends from teenage, 20s, 30-year friendships that he would still make sure they would plan dates and go out and have dinner. He'd be gone for hours.
Yeah.
Come back. He's like, so-and-so getting a divorce. So-and-so, kid left, drug. I'm like, and I ask questions, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, so you didn't ask why he's getting a divorce? Is that because y'all are two dudes and you do not ask details?
Yeah, I think there's like a lack of follow-up, because you go, listen, I got whatever the version of the truth is, I'm good. Like
So when you get two men thinking that way, they're both like, you good?
Yeah.
I'm good. You ready to go eat?
I'm good. And because to asking another question, it sometimes, I think, for men in America, you kind of go, now, am I prying? Am I getting too, do I? And with women are taught to ask questions because from like the
How
age
can they
of
be
like.
prying when it's a real personal thing?
Because I think what
if you think it is,
I think
then
the
it
big
is, yeah.
difference is that like women are trained to like in our society, they're trained to like help and like see if they can help and what they can do, and that's why you could ask your girlfriend, oh well, like, is everything okay? Like, what was going on? Like, what do you think caused this? Like, and men are like, you good? Okay.
That's a man thing.
It's like a little bit of sign of weakness. I think it's also a bit of like bravado. It's like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. So even like if I was to be like, oh, does my husband ever want to hook up with a girl? Because he's been out way longer than me.
Yeah.
He like kind of made it so that he was my first big public gay relationship. If he wanted to hook up with a girl right now, I'd be like, man, that's crazy.
Do you know what that entails? No.
I'd be like,
are you equipped?
I'm like, listen, okay, let's pull out the PowerPoint. I think
a lot more spots than back in the day. Let me show you what's changed. Different points, different pulse points. Okay. I think we can close it out now, but I want to ask this last question. What about the comedy business that we are in would you like to see change? Like, how's it going for you overall?
Right. I mean, like, I'm very lucky. I've had like a lot of success over the past couple years. You and me, I've been able to watch so many people where I was like, listen, the pandemic, like it stopped a lot of stuff, but it also like helped kind of slingshot so many people back into things, and so many people who like were working, like the minute they got the chance to work some more, like you were like, oh my gosh, this person's got all these days, this person's on tour, people are like doing really well. The thing that I kind of want to see more of is I want people to keep giving comics opportunities. For a while, you'd be like, oh, Jackie Fabulous is an amazing comic. Let's put her in like 2 sitcoms. Let's put her on a panel for something.
Yeah.
Like really kind of remember that comedians
Wasn't
were
it
funny.
hot for a minute?
Yeah.
We were all getting on people's things for a second.
Yeah.
It was a hot 2 years.
Yeah. And so I think because now everyone's like, oh, we need prestige drama. I think hopefully all these comedies doing well are going to let people know that we want to laugh. I think After Midnight's doing a good job. I think Abbott Elementary is doing a good job of casting tons of comics. I just saw Langston Kerman.
Every time I look at it, somebody else I know on there. Yeah.
I think that like network comedies and like TV shows in general are going to try to find big, hard F funnies because for the past 10 years they've gone, oh, let's make this kind of dramatic. And it's like, no shade, but like.
I love a silly sitcom.
Yeah, I love silly sitcoms. If you saw Jackie, fabulous, one weekend and you saw her on TV and you went, oh man, she's so funny. And then you're a casting director. Why are you going to be like, I need you to be this hard drug dealer? You're like, no, I kind of want you to be someone's fun auntie.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to deliver
the job
these
I want.
jokes.
Because those are the ones who, they're scene stealers.
Yes.
Those are the ones that when they're missing from a scene, you miss it.
Yes.
You
and
know?
you go, bring them back.
Exactly.
Bring them back.
So more opportunities like, the panel shows. There's a point where there was so many.
Yeah.
And when we're on them, we do a really good job.
And like Roy Wood Jr. has an amazing show.
Congratulations,
like, and
CNN.
you like put comics on that and people get to laugh. And now, because we're talking about a tough crowd, like that kind of stuff, what's been kind of like, what's shifted is that now people just want us to do it for free on their phones.
Yeah.
When I like a paycheck every now and then. We love a paycheck.
Always waiting for one.
Yeah. So that's a shift I want to see. And to your point, Denzel told a young actor, I think recently at one of the Gladiator premieres, he said, I've seen your stuff online. Now I need to see you get on stage and do it. If you want to do comedy, get on stage.
Just
if you really want to if you want to do comedy, get on stage.
And too many, I get a lot of, like, can I pick your brain or can I ask you? And then one guy did all that, and then I'm like, so have you been on stage?
Yeah.
And he's like, not yet. I'm getting my notes together.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't nerd comedy out.
Yeah.
Comedy, you got to go up there, whether it's about a dream you had last night, the cat you can't stand, your relationship. But you have to get up there and just talk, even if you have nothing written yet.
And you have to know what 5 minutes feels like with other people in the room.
Because you'll only be allowed to do 5 for years before they give you any more time.
Yes.
You know?
And, like, you're not going to get better by not doing it, so do it. And, like, people will be like, oh, do you remember last time that, like, you had a bad show? I remember the first time I, like, really, like, ate it on stage. And I remember thinking, you know what? I can take. This is actually not the worst thing in the world.
It's not that bad.
It's not the worst thing in the world. And then one time it happened, I want to say less than 2 years ago, I had to do comedy for a benefit after they fed these old people for a charity
Always
auction.
before the food. Always before
Jackie,
the goddamn
when
food.
I tell you they were sleeping and farting, these old people, I shouldn't have been up there. I should have been up. This is after 2 Tonight Show appearances. I did a fundraiser. After the food, girl.
What?
Girl.
Just laying there unbuckling this.
They said, woo. They said, oh my gosh. They said, Donald Glover is not that funny tonight. I don't know what's going on.
I threatened to leave a college gig one time because when I got there, they were like, okay, you're right after the food. I said, if you don't put me on now. And they knew. I'm like, I'll leave this little $2,000. And they put me on, and I'm like, see? Because I'm not going up after the prime rib.
Right?
You go crazy?
What do you want to see happen in the industry?
Comics helping each other.
Yeah.
Like a lot of me and the female comics I know and I work with, we promote and share each other's stuff.
Yeah.
Cross-promoting does not take away from you.
Oh, my God. It's one button on Instagram.
Or Twitter if you're still over there.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, you can just put it in your stories. But it helps because I want there to be more. Whenever I go to, like, on your feed and you see a Funny Bone promoting the shows coming up,
I'm
like, I love when it's like Eminem. I see a black, a white, a gay, everything. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to look.
And I can say this as a boy. Ask for female features, openers, and hosts. Too many men will have a lineup where it's like them and their 4 homeboys, and the audience won't even, like, hear the difference between y'all. If you just, like, got one girl up there, it's like wow to me whenever I see that.
Before I had any kind of, like, they might know who I am, I would do, like, the Comedy Store, and it'd be like Rogan's show. Yeah. And it'd be like just nothing but white dudes. Yeah. And I have heard the audience gasp when I walked out because they're just like, something different. Jesus Christ. I don't know who she is, but she's not a dude in an Avengers t-shirt.
Yes. Yes. And, like, that helps you. You stand out more, and you get to be like, oh, my gosh, this girl is so funny. That's just such a simple ask. Once you have any sort of, like, little bit of control over, like, who your support's gonna be on the road, be like, hey, listen, I know y'all got me. If you're a boy, if you're a man, like, I know y'all got me headlining. Give me, I want a female feature or a female opener, and they go, oh, we think no, you got somebody.
Yeah.
I promise you have
promise
someone.
you have somebody. Because I'll randomly post on Facebook, who's in Illinois?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's somebody there.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
But you are my first, and now I know no more chunky sweaters. See how you gotta learn? I ain't got no mirror, no comb.
You
I
look
ain't been on set in so
You
long.
look, the one thing that like people also say about Jackie is that like so many comics, so many boy comics, and now sadly some girl comics, but that's feminism. They'll walk on stage looking not great. I've never seen Jackie go on stage not looking put together.
Oh, thank you.
But that's a black comic thing too.
And I had a corporate job.
Yeah, and you had a corporate
I had a regular
job.
life before this,
Yeah.
so I know the meaning of going to work.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. But that is like that. Every now and then you'd be like, I'll like look at someone. I'll be like, did you know you had a set tonight? Cause wow, baby.
Oh,
These people got
God.
some going out clothes. Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, okay, but it's so common now. I don't even get mad anymore because I'm like, as long as he's laundered, he's gotta let it go there.
Listen, I got a dog. Every now and then I might have some dog hair on me, but at least the shirt went in the dryer.
You know, and because the dryer sheet's hanging off the back. Jay Jurden, thank you so much for being my first guest back to Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. I'm back, guys. It's the studio. Thank you for the studio. What's the name? I should be plugging you guys.
81 Studio at Technica House.
18-1?
81.
81. 81 what?
81 Studio
81 Studio
at Technica House, New York.
at Technica House, New York. I'm going to post all of this. I'm going to get way better, and you'll see. But rock with your girl. And all the previous episodes are on my YouTube page. You can find all that at JackieFabulous.com or YouTube.com/JackieFabulous. You can catch me. When's it going to be released? No idea. But I'm going to be at Helium in Indianapolis, one show on the 24th this Sunday. And then next weekend, Vermont Comedy Club,
Ooh, that's a good
2
club.
nights. 29th and 30th. Go to my website, JackieFabulous.com for tickets. And we're going to hear now what's up with Jay. What's going on with you, boo?
Ooh, you can catch me in Philadelphia December 4th. And then I'm opening for Taylor Tomlinson December 6th and 7th. And then also Nashville, Zany's Nashville, December 13th and 14th. So, yeah, come to buy tickets for those.
How they going to find you?
Oh, at Jay Jurden on all social media. If you just type my name in, I promise it's me. No fake accounts, not yet.
How's it opening for somebody that's a theater and big ass?
Ooh, yeah. So I got
venue?
to open for Bob the Drag Queen, and then now I'm opening for Taylor. It's fun. I've done it a couple of times, and the theater, like, you know when you do a comedy club and you like just kind of walk in with theaters, like sometimes you go, oh, we needed a sound check. We actually needed a sound check.
You're like me. Because I will ditch a sound check. Like, I'm not coming down there.
Yeah,
I
for
want
a
to take
club,
a nap.
does it work? Okay, great.
But the theater, you're like, first of all, the stage
Yes.
is big, and if I stand over here, horrible feedback.
Yes.
The spotlight disappears if I move around too much.
Yes.
Guess we should have come to rehearsal.
Yes. Well, that's because you treat comedy like a job, and you treat comedy like it's a career, and I think that does there's an adjustment period for some people where they have to go, oh, wait a second, I gotta take this a little serious. I go, yeah, I'm sorry, baby.
The show's about you.
Yeah. They pay money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Iron your stuff before you come down.
My bad. I know.
You know?
But yeah, that's the biggest difference, and like you really kind of do get to see people really lose it. Like you get to see fans like be like, oh, and you'll be like, girl, what you mean? Because
in some places you were what they had on their calendar.
Yes.
For the last few weeks or months, they bought an outfit to see you.
They saved money. They made a night of it. So getting to see that has been fun. There was a girl who waited outside of Bob's tour bus, I want to say 2 hours after the Montreal show. I was like, please, I need a photo. Like she just waited, and Bob came out not in drag anymore. I was like, girl, you want a picture?
I've had people pull out a picture of me laminated after America's Got Talent. That's when I'm like, fans are real.
Yes.
Whether you have 300 or 300 million, they are real. And I thank you guys for rocking with me. Please rock with the podcast. I'm on all the podcast, whatever, Apple and Anchor, but I got to reactivate. But you're watching me come back. I'm not going to not come back. All right? That's it. Jackie Fabulous, Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. Thank you guys so much. Episode number, God knows what, coming up soon. Holla at your girl, Jay Jurden.